Hi everyone, welcome to Java Express channel. So today we come up with another interview question. Difference between the Spring versus Spring Boot. Nowadays a popular interview question. Hope everyone knows. A lot of people are learning Spring Boot as well, right? So today let me discuss what's the difference between Spring versus Spring Boot here. Okay, already I make a points, all the points. Just each point let me explain thoroughly for you so that it will be easy for you guys. Spring is a core framework. It's kind of a general purpose program framework, normal framework, core framework. Suppose if you want to learn JDBC, servlets, and JSP, then you should know core Java, right? So in the same way, Spring is a general purpose framework in order to build Java based enterprise applications. But whereas in case of the Spring Boot, the Spring is the heart of the Spring Boot. Okay, without Spring core there is no concept of Spring Boot. So by using the Spring Boot is also a framework for building web applications, enterprise applications, and microservices. Nowadays it's very popular. Okay, to develop the microservices we need a Spring Boot skill should be required. So that's why Spring Boot is a popular, the very first point. Why it is a popular? Why? Because a lot of features it is providing for us. Now the important feature of the Spring core framework is dependency injection. That is not part of the Spring Boot. That is the Spring core functionality. The Spring Boot, the main functionality is called auto configuration, is the main functionality here. Auto configuration is very important in the Spring Boot. That is the default functionality of your Spring Boot here. This is the second point. And coming to the third point, to create standalone application we need to write lots of code. Not only a standalone application, whether you want to create standalone or web application, lot of code you need to write, like web.xml you need to create, Spring configuration file you should create, and normal database connection if you want to perform, those XML files you need to create, dispatcher servlets you need to handle, to write a hello world, a lot of things you need to perform here. It's kind of a hell for you to write an application in the Spring framework. But whereas in the Spring Boot, just it is kind of next done. Just download the project, whatever you write the business logic, system.out.println and hello world, that's it. It will be a most easiest part about our Spring Boot here. Already we have a lot of videos in our YouTube about the Spring Boot videos and Spring videos as well. And as well as we are going to start new batch as well. Who are interested, just in the comment box we have a Telegram group, join that group, or you have a contact number, reach out the number, you will get more information as well. Like we are going to start coming next week a new batch about a Spring Boot as well, guys. Spring Boot and microservices, Docker and Kubernetes batch. Okay, don't miss this opportunity. And as well as in the Spring we need to explicitly deploy the application to a server, like you need to install Tomcat in your local system, and you need to develop the application, you need to generate a war file, and this war file you need to configure into a Tomcat server, and then you need to run the application. Here it will take a lot of time to you in order to perform that activity. But whereas a Spring Boot, that is a default embedded servers it is giving, like a Tomcat, Jetty, Undertow, like a lot of inbuilt softwares they given for us. Okay, these are all called embedded servers they are giving to us. Just you need to run the application. By default it will be deployed into a Tomcat application. Tomcat, by it will be run on a port number 8080. It will be a 1 minute of time. By using the Spring Boot you can perform this activity. Okay, in terms of the pom.xml dependencies, as a programmer you need to handle, if you want to develop a web application, you need to define Spring core, Spring beans, Spring context, Spring web, Spring web MVC, Spring transaction, hibernate, JDBC, logging. Around 10 to 15 dependencies you should define in your pom.xml file, whereas in the Spring framework. But whereas in the Spring Boot you no need to do anything, Just Spring Boot is giving a Spring Boot starters. If you add a web starter, that's enough. All 10 to 15 dependencies will be downloaded inside your class path. That much is huge popular, and it will be easy for you for the learning wise also. And to do any kind of POC kind of applications, a real database is not required for you. Okay, why? Because Spring Boot is providing in-memory database as well. To perform cloud operations, you don't need any MySQL or Oracle. They are in-memory database. We have web-based console like a H2, Derby, SQL. We have a in-memory databases available in the inside the Spring Boot here. But in the Spring framework, it doesn't provide any support for in-memory databases here. And another important point here, Spring is not giving any production ready features, actuators. Already we done one video how to monitor your Spring Boot application. Using actuators we can perform, okay, production ready features it is giving to us. That is another important feature in the Spring Boot here. So these are the main important differences between the Spring versus Spring Boot. Guys, I know you guys are watching this video, so if you're really interested, if you're really learning, and please give a like and a comment as well. If you are interested to join in our course, a new batch, please, we'll give the contact number, Telegram group, registration link, everything in the comment box. Please have a look and register by yourself. Okay, so that's it from my end. Thank you guys. We'll catch up in the next session.